Good morning. Welcome to Full Circle Ozarks.
Let me begin by saying we are so disappointed. We're losing more trees on our properties out here. This is my son here, Joseph. You saw him on several videos with me. He's having to take down 3 trees right here near his propane tank and lateral lines. In recent weeks, we had got quite a bit of rain. At one point, we had 5 inches of rain, and a lot of trees, the roots were just loosened up, and these trees here had begun to lean toward his propane tank and his house, and so out of an abundance of caution, he decided to go ahead and take these trees down. So this is what you see here. He's notching the trees. We've done some good calculations there. If you'll see where he's cutting at, we put some wedge marks there on the trees. But out of an abundance of caution, we got our neighbor Josh to come up with his Cat 953 to apply some pressure on the trees just to make sure they didn't fall back toward the propane tank and the house. The video doesn't do a lot of justice here, but they were really leaning toward that propane tank. And this particular tree, they started pushing on it. The root ball was trying to come up, so he had to notch the backside a little bit more. So anyway, he'll go ahead and cut these stumps off with it at ground level at some point. But this tree here is actually a 2-tree in 1. There's a big fork in it right there. So he's taking a part of it down one at a time there. So anyway, we are disappointed about losing these trees on my particular property next to Joe. I think I counted 3 trees that the straight line winds just brought down at the east end of my property, and then at the back of my house there was 2 more trees that the straight line winds just brought down because the ground was so saturated. So we were definitely up, but just a little bit upset. I think that's a good word. We just hated the idea of losing these trees. We were wanting to use these for shade, but nonetheless, because of the way they started leaning, we just decided it was best to go ahead and take them down. So you can see Josh standing there on the tracks of the cat, and here in a few moments he says, "Oops, I need to be back in that cat and put a little bit of pressure on that." So here you'll see him jump back in the cat here. There he goes. It's go time, Josh. Get in that cat and move that tree. It only takes a little bit of pressure after the trees are notched for that cat to get them pushed over. And since we had Josh back on the property to kind of take care of some of these trees, Joe and Lisa decided they'd have a little bit more landscaping done too. So at the back of their house here, this tree here was leaning a little bit, but it was mostly dead, so they went ahead and took that down since it was leaning toward the house. So you'll see some fresh landscaping. I forget how many loads of dirt that Josh brought in to put on this end of the house, and so there will be a separate video of the landscaping work that was done there. And just after all the rain, where you see Joe walking, that had begun to get washed out, so they decided to have some more field dirt brought in and bring the elevation up a little bit, and then actually reseed it. So stay tuned for or be watching for a future video where we show that that dirt being put in there, as well as behind his house. And speaking of behind his house, right to the right there where you see Joe cutting that stump off, that hill at the back of Joe and Lisa's house is really steep. And there's a place down there where Joe was taking a few stumps, and you'll see Josh carrying this stump at the bottom of the hill. It's so steep that in order to keep it in his bucket, he has to back down the hill. And so it's kind of fun there. Hopefully you'll get an idea of how steep that hill is going off here in just a moment. Joe and Lisa also had some trails put in as well as us, and so you'll get to see this one trail that goes off that Josh is going to back down here in just a moment. But this stump is being cantankerous. It just didn't want to get in the bucket and stay in the bucket. So Josh is a very experienced operator with that cat as well as the skid loader. So he eventually gets it in his bucket there with and you'll see him back down the hill, and hopefully, like I say, this will give you an idea of just how steep this hill is. But on the other hand, it makes a perfect view for Joe and Lisa looking out their picture window there in the dining room, and they can just look down, and they have a view that's just knock your socks off. It's so pretty. Maybe we'll show that soon. Well, that stump, as you can see, is still being a little bit elusive, but he will get it in just a moment. Well, I think he finally got it in his bucket. And watch now as he maneuvers that 953 and backs down this hill. We actually take our UTVs up and down this hill, but it is steep. We'll do some trail riding here in one of the future videos and show you some of the trails now that we've got put in. But Josh is just almost at the bottom of the hill here, so we have a location there to drop that stump. Where you see Josh is now backing up, that is almost like a bridge that we had Josh to put in. So we can cross that with our UTVs. And here comes Josh back up out of the hill. Anyway, folks, that's about all we got for you today. I just wanted to give you an idea of what's up and let you know that we lost some more trees. So stay tuned for future videos. We appreciate you, and make sure you subscribe. Y'all have a good day. God bless you.